I just wanted to say a few words before we start. I wrote 2 checks this morning, one to the church and one to Berea College in Kentucky. The reason for the writing of the check to the Berea College in Kentucky is Berea was my mother's name. Um, Now, I'd never heard of, well, about 4 years ago, I received a request from Berea College in Kentucky for a donation. I had never made one before until this year. Finally, I decided to do so. Berea College, according to the literature as I understood it, has no tuition fee, but it's only for kids of families that can't afford tuition. And so I made a donation to Berea College in my mother's name. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, good morning. Welcome to Wellspring. My name is Jim Moore, and I am part of your May 11th, 2025 Sunday service team. Now we have a few announcements. Early birds meet Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. The link is in the weekly email and on the website. Our speaker for today is our own beloved Reverend Sandhi Scott. Next week, Reverend Kamatara will be down from Albuquerque. And on May 25th, we'll have Reverend Randy Granger for a change. It's been a while. This coming week, the Lunch Bunch will meet at Village Inn at 11:30. We're going to try that as an option and see how it goes. And then the board meeting's at 6:30 on Wednesday evening. And anyone's welcome to attend. We do it on Zoom. And if you wanted to attend, just ask for the website link from Edward or someone on the board. Our Thursday evening group continues to meet at 7 p.m. here in the social hall or on Zoom. And if you need coordinates, either Cleona or Edward can provide them. The labyrinth is slowly coming along. Thank you for those who have contributed rocks. Please help by finding and bringing more rocks to line the pathway. Rocks should only be around 6 inches in diameter, and there's a collection spot right out there under the pergola. Also, Judy has updated the directory of our people, and it's available in the social hall. My Alchemical Journey into Holistic Health is a memoir of wisdom, healing, and transformation by our own Dr. Juan Robles. Amazon reports, drawing from a lifetime of experience, my alchemical journey into holistic health is more than a memoir. It is an invitation to explore the deeper connections between health, spirituality, and the natural world. Sounds quite interesting. Our prayer team remains ready to serve and support you. You may submit a request via our webpage or give it to Edward. Our prayer team meets virtually on Tuesday afternoons at 4:15 to pray with you. You may consider sitting in your quiet space during that time. We know we are one in spirit, and the energy of prayer knows no limit. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty, and we know that it is here with us today. as we celebrate Mother's Day and celebrate our journey through life together as members of Wellspring. We send out this peace and calmness and love to all of our family and friends, and let it spread around the world. And so it is. Please stand if you are able for our song of joy. Thank you. Let us read together our vision, mission, and affirmation. Our vision: to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Our mission: to support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. And our affirmation: I am faith and uplifted by the ever-present power of Spirit. Each moment blossoms with opportunities for love, abundance, and joy. I am a radiant expression of divine truth, living fully and freely, rooted in Spirit. And now it's time for some special music from Jeff Gee. Is that pronounced correctly?
Jeff G.
G or Gee?
Yeah, G.
G.
But it's okay. Either way, it's fine. One, two. Okay, I hope you guys enjoy this one. This is about when you meditate and get close with God, that everything gets better. Close my eyes, breathe in deep. My heart goes quiet, my heart finds peace. No matter the challenge, no matter the storm, I am restored, I am reborn. The path past is gone, the fear is healed. The peace of God is all I feel. Despite the cost, despite the pain, I am restored, I live again. Closer than the air I breathe, God is always near. Confident I move ahead, I let spirit steer. Open to the splendor of the kingdom of God. Oh, I am restored. Close my eyes, breathe in deep. My world goes quiet, my heart finds peace. No matter the challenge, no matter the storm, I am restored, I am reborn. The past is gone, the fear is healed. The peace of God is all I feel. Despite the cost, despite the pain, I am restored, I live again. Closer than the air I breathe, God is always near. Confident I move ahead, I let spirit steer. I'm open to the splendor of the kingdom of God. Oh, I am restored. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. My reading today comes from the Science of Mind magazine, March 25, 2025. Each of us develops our own intimate turn to God for a sense of connection. It can be a sentence or two, a silent sense, perhaps even a physical posture. For instance, whenever something good happens to a man I know, he immediately utters the words, "Thank you, Papa. Send some more." Now, before some readers freak out, I would remind us of an earlier guide that spoke of our personal names for God. Papa, to my friend, does not refer to some anthropomorphic God in the sky somewhere. It is the open stance he presents to an ever-giving presence. It also presents the wonderful attitude of gratitude that allows him to receive. It is the handling of our relationship to God that we have either a hard or easy partnership, and a working partnership it is. Holmes said that it is the universe's nature to give, ours to receive, and the challenge is for us to be clear and open enough to receive. A good understanding of what takes place through this shared nature is all important. Therefore, our chosen invitation enlivens the connection. I have often said that the physical world, although immersed in spirit, is often a great distraction. Its demands, desires, and needs can take us from our divine centers and confuse our intimate relationship with God. We need then to continuously burnish our interactions with the divine so that we are always in a clear, receiving state. The affirmation is, I am the place where God stands forth in the world as me. I am clear in my relationship to God. As God gives, I remain a grateful receiver. And so it is. And now it's time for Reverend Sandy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I have another one for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm thrilled to be here. It's an honor to speak on Mother's Day. I've had my 80th birthday all weekend. I was given 3 parties in TRC. Can you imagine? And I was supposed to go to another one. I said, I can't. I can't eat another thing. I overdid with sugar, and I had a sugar hangover. You know what I mean? Anyway, it was so much fun. I had a party at Ingo's Art Cafe, and then I had a party at the Black Cat Coffee and Books Cafe, and then my 12-step program really surprised me with a big old birthday party. I mean, I've only been there 8 months. Isn't that amazing? Yes. The givingness and the welcoming and the sense of belonging has just been astounding. And it'll be 2 years with me being with Wellspring on the 14th. Yay! And it's the light of my life. I behave better knowing I'm going to give a talk. I kind of make notes during the week, or the month. So today is Mother's Day. So let's start with united in spirit. Let's have that attitude of gratitude, the altitude of high frequency thinking, based in love, unconditional love and compassion for our mothers, and thanksgiving for what we gained from them and what they taught us. And I love the way the Peruvians call Mother Earth Pachamama. So here's to all the mothers and all the mothers in the room. And we release this message for the greater good, and I hope it serves you today. So I brought some symbols of the divine. The topic is the divine feminine, Edward. So I had a wonderful welcome when I got here. And we got so relaxed that we looked up and it was 2 minutes to 11. It's like, it's so relaxing here. It's just like a refuge. It's a Wellspring rocks. It just truly does. It really, really does. It's my favorite place to be other than TRC. So thank you for 2 years. I think the dearest mother I know of, I'm a nature person, an animal person, and the greatest mothers I know of are the otters. Have you ever seen how the otters cradle their babies for 2 months? Yeah. And in Monterey, I was at a retreat and out at Asilomar, and there was a mother and a baby, and the baby had his hair. He was just a mess. And she dove down to get some food, and he was going, but they cradle them for 2 months. Isn't that wonderful? And in Bali, I don't know if they still do, but they used to hold a baby for 6 months, never put the baby down. If the mother had to do something, an auntie or a friend or a godmother would hold the baby. And it's supposed to be the happiest place on earth, so maybe that's part of it, that nurturing. So if you didn't get nurturing, it's time now to get nurturing. I had nurturing for 12 years. My mother built an amazing foundation for me. She was so clever and gifted. She bought architectural paper and those little form things, and she drew out our house. And she made my clothes, like Pendleton slacks with silk lining, coats, suits. She was just multi-talented, and she did beautiful pastels. And she had a tragic ending, but there is no ending in spirit. And so let's say something, a gift from our mothers. Let's just one thing. Who's ready?
She gave me stick-to-itiveness.
Great.
Head scratching.
Wonderful. Shirley? Shirley?
Guidance.
Guidance. Jean?
Oh, there's so much.
Just one.
She trusted my intuition.
Wow. Dean? Great.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Practicality. I tend to go off into all sorts of directions, and she brings me in.
Beautiful. Edward?
That's a good one, Judy, thank you. Sense of practicality and kind of like what Jeff said.
Well, that's great. Brenda?
Love of animals.
Oh, me too. Love of nature, love of animals, love of travel, love of people. She healed our puppy of parvo. She was just an amazing spirit, very gifted. Sometimes it's hard to be a very gifted person, and it was hard for her. So she did her best, and I don't think there's a mother on earth that didn't want to do a good job. And if they failed, it's because they're human. They're just human, and we have lessons to learn and hoops to jump through. And my mother jumped through a hoop of fire with disease, and but in the end, I held her as she was dying, and I was watching the numbers go down, 40, 39, watching my mother die, and I was holding her, and a tear went from her cheek to mine. So it was quite beautiful. One time in LA, I did a AIDS ministry, and so our center was 98% men with HIV and AIDS. And when AIDS diminished, I didn't know what to really do with myself because it had been 24/7 service. So I went to Miriam Williamson, and she said, Sandy, women want to come to be with you. You have to open your heart to women. She said, I want you to get in your car, go out Sunset Boulevard, and stop where you can sense Mary. And so I'd never seen it before. I went down Sunset towards the beach, and there was this little triangle park on Sunset Boulevard in Beverly Hills, and there was a statue of Mary. So I knelt down, and sure enough, women came. So Mary Ann is such a good friend, and I love her to bits. I'm rereading The Mystic Jesus. That's her latest book. It's really, really good. So, and she's a great mother with Emma. I mean, Emma took her original name, India, and she lives in England, and she's had 2 babies. So, and she's just phenomenal. She's a Taurus, too, and Mary Ann said, oh, the 2 of you just drive me crazy. So, I brought some props. The first one is the oldest one, I think. The image of a mother is Kuan Yin. How many people are familiar with Kuan Yin? She's the goddess of compassion. And she was a young woman with a wealthy father, and there was a monastery up on the hill. And she was seeking enlightenment. Her father decided she'd been raped and taken hostage, and he burned the whole monastery with her in it. And so she became a beacon of light for mothers and children. And mothers pray to her in China if they want to have a child and to protect them. And she's just, I love her so much, that serenity that she has. So that's Kuan Yin, mother of compassion. And then I have Green Tara. You can look later, but she's on a lotus cushion, and her foot is over the cushion, and it's held by a lotus. And she's the goddess of active compassion. And her foot represents she's ready to take action for you at any time. I've never done that. Anyway, that's Green Tara, and her chant is Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha, Om Tare Tu Re Soha. So it's beautiful. She's just a beautiful spirit. So that's Green Tara. And then, you know Lynn Andrews? Do you know of Lynn Andrews, wrote Medicine Woman? She was a friend, and she was in Detroit on my birthday. And she gave me this Black Madonna. Isn't it cool? So that represents Mary, the mother. And to me, she is an image of acceptance. I took an art history class in high school. It was the first class I loved. And a girl had been to Italy, and she brought back a great big art book of Michelangelo's works. And when she turned to the Pietà, I just had this really deep experience. So I finally got to Italy and wanted to see the Pietà so badly because our art teacher says, look what grace she holds her dead son. And to me, she's the image of acceptance. And she had a tall order, didn't she? And one of the last words in Jesus on the cross in the book of John said, behold your mother, to his brother James. Wanted to make sure she was taken care of. So that's acceptance. And you know, these are just pointers to spirit. The Hindus don't worship that piece of metal. It takes them to the energy of active compassion. So they're just like fingers pointing. If I'm pointing to spirit, you're not going to worship my finger, are you? Heck no. You're going to go straight to spirit. So they're symbols of motherhood. And one of the most astounding things I discovered, I got a new Bible. I have several, but this is the New International Version, and it's just really cool. I'm reading the Bible again. Let's see. So the story is when Jesus was getting ready to surrender, to go to Passover, a woman came to him with an alabaster box full of sacred perfume. And she broke the box and anointed his head. And of course, Judas said, what are you doing? We could sell that. Good old Judas, the money man. So then Jesus said, leave her alone. Why are you bothering her? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will have always with you, and you can help them anytime you want. But you will not always have me. She did what she could. She poured perfume on my body beforehand to prepare me for burial. Truly, I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her. Well, you know the small circle of men that decided what books to put in the Bible? They deleted all the feminine. And in the Jerusalem Bible, there's a book of wisdom, and it's the feminine. And 3 or 4 other books. It's a great Bible. If you're ever interested, it was translated by a group of ministers and rabbis and philosophers in the 60s. And it has references that are just fascinating. Like in the book of John when it says the word became flesh and dwelt among us. I can't remember. Anyway, the footnote is interesting. Take my word for it. Anyway, so the divine feminine is within every single one of us, especially metaphysical New Thought men. They have the divine feminine. There's an openness that's just so refreshing, isn't it? Yeah. And actually in AA, the men are amazing here in TRC. It's the best AA meeting I've been to, and I've been going to them since '79. So it's just, TRC just keeps astounding me. But the men are wonderful. They're really helpful and fun. And the men here are glorious. So we all have the divine feminine, and it's to get vulnerable. If you want to see a great talk, you probably have a TED Talk with Brene Brown on vulnerability, getting vulnerable. It's very scary at first because I had my heart layered with scar tissue, and it was a wall that I thought was protecting me, but it was blocking everything I ever wanted. So to get vulnerable and open and be soft and kind and feel safe doing it. I didn't feel safe being soft and kind. I didn't want anyone ever to control or hurt me again. And so I was defensive and offensive. But I finally learned that the scar tissue can melt, and I can set myself free. And that's why I love my Hindu name that was given to me by Ram Dass's guru, Neem Karoli Baba. It's Mukti Bai, and Mukti means liberation or pearl, and Bai means sister. So it's sister liberation. And I love that because I just want to fan people's inner flame and encourage them that you have what it takes. You absolutely do. I think self-forgiveness is a must, and it's the hardest act of forgiveness I think there is, with an ego fighting every minute of it. The ego does not want me to set myself free at all. It wants to be locked in gathering evidence against what's wrong, who's wrong, what's awful. I don't do that anymore. I do not discuss politics or religion. I just don't. As people start, I say, I'm sorry, it's not a topic for me. I can't do this. I choose joy, and I believe that we have inner joy all the time, forever, installed when we were born. But the ego covers it and smothers it, doesn't want us to know that we are free right now. Right now we are free. We are spirit. We are greater than circumstances, which I've been depending on lately because I have a challenge going on. But you know, the good old little s and big S. Again, this is spirit, and this is personal self. This is high self, spirit self, and this is personality self. And it's so much smaller than great self, higher self. And it's resting in the curve of the S. When I just let myself rest in the rhythm. I wrote a chant one time, and I was a guest speaker in Detroit, north of Detroit. I can't remember the name of the town, but anyway, I was speaking, and they started playing my chant. I said, I wrote that. And she goes, well, I know, that's why we're doing it. But it's this. God is the ocean. We are the waves. Rest in the rhythm of love. Will you stand up and do it with me? We're going to sing it 2 times. We are the ocean. God is the ocean. We are the waves. Rest in the rhythm of love. One more time. God is the ocean. We are the waves. Rest in the rhythm of love. So when they played it, I was just overwhelmed. I didn't know it had gotten out, but Suze Ogden recorded it. Have you ever seen Suze Ogden? No. She's an amazing singer in CSL. I can never get used to that name. Anyway, she is a song leader, and she engages people. You know, some song leaders entertain, some engage and give a real gift, as you did. It wasn't just a song at all. It was an experience of what's possible. And my meditation has really deepened and lengthened, and I actually start meditating the minute I wake up, which is new, because it usually takes me a little while. But no, I want to start the day in spirit. I do not want to be about my body. Did I sleep? Did I not sleep? This morning was a disaster because I knew it was a full moon, and I reached over to my bedroom curtain and pulled it to look at the moon, and the curtains fell down. And the danger in that is, when I first moved, my first day in TRC, the neighbor said, first she said, well, that tree has to go. And there's this beautiful tree at my house. I mean, beautiful, huge shade tree. And I said, well, not while I'm here. And then she said, well, you wake up early, don't you? I said, yes. And she goes, is that just a bad habit or what? And I said, no, it's what I like to do. She goes, well, your light wakes us up. And I said, well, do you have curtains? She goes, well, we don't like to pull them when there's a soft breeze. And I got it. So I went up to Walmart. I was real tired. I just moved in and got blackout curtains. And I just propped them up. And I know better than to touch those curtains, but that's how I started. And I'm going, oh no, I'm waking them up. And I get the chair from the kitchen and drag it in. It's an iron curvy iron chair. It's heavy. Dragged it in, got up there, put it up, and then I tried to adjust it and it fell again. I thought, I wonder if they're watching me. Anyway, that was my morning. Then I got ready early to get my car washed. It's a mess because of the dust and the rain. It's just a mess. I'm embarrassed. But I went to the car wash and I went to put my card in. I didn't have my wallet. So I had a couple of false starts this morning. But, the Aurobindo was a guru that Ernest Holmes studied with. It's a beautiful man. The Life Divine is an amazing book. In fact, when Peggy Bassett, the president of Religious Science, was dying of her disease, I went to see her, and we were on the same chapter in Life Divine. It was just so beautiful. And all she could move was one toe, and her husband, Fred, was just an amazing, devoted mate, and he would translate for her. So she said, what do you think of death? And I said, well, it's been my greatest teacher, the harshest teacher, and the most delivering liberation I've ever had, because I was on the way of being a very shallow minister. So, the divine feminine is that straight connection to spirit. If you open your heart and get vulnerable and say, I'm open, I invite you, I want you, I'm here to listen. And then I listen for long periods of time now. And I play music that I learned in a born-again Christian church when I first moved to San Diego to marry a millionaire, and he dumped me for my sister. In a town I'd never been to. And Northern Californians aren't supposed to move to Southern California. So I fell from grace from my Northern California friends. And there I was alone. And I had one person I knew, and she was my boarding school roommate, and she was just an amazing person. So I made a lunch date with her and connected with her, and I was all ready for a martini lunch, because we used to drink a lot. And so I come, and she's drab, and she looked at me because I was in beach drag, frosted hair, and a pink shirt that said another ho-hum day in paradise. And she was in this drab outfit. And she used to be electric. And I thought, oh boy. And she goes, oh, I don't drink. I'm married to a born-again minister from Calvary Church. So I tried it for a year. I did my best, but I just couldn't do the Jesus thing. You know what I mean? I just couldn't do it. It was just this big sign, Jesus. But I loved the music, and I still listen to it today. It's called, and if you go to YouTube and push mixes, Maranatha Volume 1, the songs are absolutely beautiful. So I do that after I meditate, and then I read, and I compare translations, and I chant, and it takes me 3 hours to prepare for a day. I can leave the house after 3 hours of centering. It takes a while because the ego is powerful. If I let it be, only if I let it be. Oh, no, you're not in charge. Take a nap. I'll tell you when to wake up. You're not the driver. Because once I give the microphone to the ego, it goes into the ditch fast, right? Because it gathers evidence, negative evidence for everything. It would be so easy to be negative today. I have a lot of negative friends that I said, you know what? I choose joy. And I may be a Pollyanna, but I really prefer joy to all this stuff that people are talking about. Even though Mary Ann does it a lot, I just respect her. And I only know what's going on because I listen to her. And the funny thing was that I wasn't Christian. I'm still not. And I didn't want to hear about Jesus for years. And then Mary Ann Williamson came a year ago to the Las Cruces, and we reunited. And so at the evening session, I took my Course in Miracles that was in the giveaway box. I was done, and she signed it, and I just finished all 365 lessons. And she quotes me often. She says, well, as Sandy Scott says, if you haven't thrown the Course in Miracles across the room, you haven't read it. because it can be very frustrating. I was helping people die, and the Course in Miracles is saying there is no death. You can't say that to someone in their last stage, all tubed up and sores all over their body. You know, you created it, you can uncreate it. It doesn't exist. So I translate the word illusion to temporary, because they say life is an illusion. Well, it's not an illusion to me. Physically, it's real. Spiritually, it isn't. But I'm in a body. I have to live it. I have to deal with the ego. I have to deal with the body. And so I use the word temporary, because everything is. Like, I have a temporary dot of disease on my temporary body. And it's just a tiny dot on the big S, on the little s, actually. And it's temporary. Life is temporary. Life is temporary. Everything is temporary. Anything you can sense. And when you put your hands on your face, that's all 5 senses between your ears. And anything you can sense is temporary. Anything manifested comes from the unmanifested. It goes formless, form, formless. Formless, form, formless. And on and on and on. And it's really hard for some of us when things change drastically. But it's that acceptance, like Mother Mary accepting that her son was going to be beaten and tortured and crucified. So on my birthday, in the morning, I opened a package from my friend that was my boss in 67, and we're very close. He was here last April. Just an amazing, he's the closest thing to a saint I've ever met. He's just amazing. And he sent me this big pewter Celtic cross. And I'm not a fan of crosses. You know, like the Course in Miracles says, you can look on the cross, but gaze on the empty tomb. But it also says, in Mary Ann's book, Mystic Jesus, it says, the cross represents the suffering of the human body and man's inhumanity to man, like the Rudraksha seeds. You know, it's a symbol of suffering. And First Noble Truth is there is suffering. You know, and I was trained in Science of Mind to say there is no suffering. What a crock. It just isn't the truth for me. You know, I have a body, it's a fact. And Ernest Holmes says disease is a fact. It is not the truth. There's a greater truth than anything going on in my body. So, then Jeanette, my childhood friend of 71 years, her husband, I was telling Sweetie Pie, I went blank on your name, Sharon, how stupid. Anyway, Jeanette, we've been friends for 71 years, and she has a great son living in Costa Rica. And he sent her and his wife and his sons and a nanny to Paris for 10 days. And so she said, did you get my package? I said, no, it's not here, but it's wonky mail service here. It'll come. And it came at 8:30 at night. I didn't know people delivered at 8:30 at night. And it was all these gifts from Paris. And she gave me a crucifix from the Notre Dame. And I wasn't a fan of Notre Dame. I used to walk past it to go to the Sorbonne for 6 months. And I wasn't a fan. My sister was gaga. She made a thesis about the rose window. And when we first went, she was just in awe. She'd finally seen this thing she'd written a thesis about. She was just in awe. And I had to go over and say, Donna, you're in a funeral procession. She didn't even know it. She was so in awe. But anyway, used to walk by it every day. And then when it was burning, I knew how much I loved it. It just broke my heart to see it burning. So I'm so glad it's repaired now. But 2 oldest friends sent me crosses. Isn't that amazing? I go, why are they sending me crosses? And I heard this voice say, well, you've been studying Jesus for a year now. It's the law of attraction, you idiot. And it doesn't mean it means the suffering of the ego, of the body. And Jesus overcame that. He proved that life is eternal, that it never ends. It's endless, beginningless, endless, formless. So I learned my lesson. I was going to throw them away. And then I thought, wait a minute, these are my oldest friends. They're very, very dear to me, and they would only send something that they knew I would love. So I got over it. Yeah. And she said, it's blue for your eyes. She's just the sweetest woman. That trip couldn't happen to a better person. So she's a mother that raised a phenomenal son. So we have examples of mothers, don't we? Mother Teresa, Pachamama, these girls, my girl gang here. So let's close our eyes. Can you really give thanks for your mother? Just the way she was, and just the way she was not. I believe that every one of us, every mother does her best. So we embrace our mothers and we give thanks for the gifts that we received and the lessons we've learned. And we open to the divine feminine today, and we're kinder and gentler and more open. And we actively listen to people and greet them and bring forth the light, the divine feminine. So take a moment and just contemplate the divine feminine that is within you. That's beautiful. And so we give thanks. We open our eyes as we're ready. I have one funny thing to tell you. Terry Cole Whitaker did a TV show. She was the first New Age minister with a national TV show, and she taped on Sundays, and it was Mother's Day, and she said, would all the mothers in the audience stand up? And my bodybuilding, muscular, ex-army husband stood up. She said, Ron, why are you standing up? He says, I'm a mother to my cat. He had the divine feminine, didn't he? And so do we. We all do. Thank you for listening. It was a real pleasure being here. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Sharon. We have gifts. I forgot my gifts. How could that happen? Oh, here, you could open it and pass them out, please. They're roses to represent the mother and the divine feminine, and they twist so you can put them in your car or wherever you want, but I think they're a beautiful color. So as you take that rose, will you accept this rose? You accept this rose in honor of your mother and the divine feminine in all of us. And so please enjoy those roses. Thank you. Thanks, Jim. It's sweet, isn't it? We'll miss you.
Time for Jeff to come back up.
Yay.
Oh, wow. That was a great speech.
Thank you.
Well, this next song is inspired by a talk from Eric Butterworth and about the supermind. And incidentally, I'm still learning how to think about Eric Butterworth without wanting pancakes. Light inside, love inside, love in me, love in you. Light inside, love inside, light in me, light in you. We're a one in the supermind. We always have been whole. There really are no lines that divide. There is no need for control in the supermind. In the supermind. Peace inside, joy inside, peace in me, peace in you, peace inside, joy inside, peace in me, peace in you. And we are all one in the supermind, always have been whole. There really are no lines that divide. There is no need for control in the supermind. In the supermind. Light inside, love inside, love in me, love in you. Light inside, love inside, light in me, light in you. We are all one in the supermind. We always have been whole. Really are no lines that divide. There is no need for control in the supermind.
Beautiful.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now it's time for our offering.
Spontaneous.
We are grateful for these gifts and know that they will be multiplied and used throughout our community and throughout the world. And so it is. Thank you, Sharon. There are a number of folks who have contributed to the production of this service, and we are grateful for their service. Our musician, our camera person, our computer person, our singer, our speaker,
And our last minute PA.
and the last minute PA that we thank you for joining us today in Zoom land and here in the sanctuary. Lastly, stay around in the Zoom if you want to visit a bit, or join us in the social hall.
Mocha scones.
We got mocha stone, scones. Please stand if you are able and read with me the benediction and followed by our congregational song. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world, and so it is.